side plan, floor plan, elevation, sections.
We're gonna go through all of them, but let's talk about side plan first. Before we start today's content, I just want to ask you something. What is the goal of design? Some of you guys is gonna say is to make things to look better, and some of you guys is gonna say to make things more practical or functional. Some of you guys is gonna say is to first diagnose the issue and then trying to provide a solution to solve it. In a lot of situations, all of them are just quite correct. But when you cannot deliver your design intentions to your clients or your audience, all of this are just trash. It's useless. And by the way, I'm one in architecture field. The site plan usually have the most informations. As a professional, we know what is a site context, site condition, setback, access point, but our clients and audience are most likely not. So it is our job to really bridge the gap for them and help them to read. And that's the main reason I'm doing this DCOM 1 session. And DCOM is represent for design communication. And here I'm dividing the site plan drawings into 4 stages. So the stage 1 is going to be the raw infos. Let's make a quick analogy. This is me, an average guy who's naughty and smart, in which we can treat the body as a raw info or raw design here. As you can see, we can't really get any infos out of it. To make the big idea look better and more readable, we need to drop some essentials on it. Which brings us to the second stage, the essentials. So let's get back to the analogy. The essentials for me are a pair of jeans and t-shirts. As for the site plan, the essentials are topos, that's topographic. Site plan, which is the role in this scenario, the scale. A proper scale is needed. When you have a way too large scale, we don't have a lot of info to see. When you have a way too small scale, we can't even tell where's the site. The north arrow, if there's no specific reason, north is always upward. In my case over here, when I rotate the plan from true north to something like this, come on, it just made more sense, right? And that's probably the only situation we can really rotate the north arrow and our site plan at the same time. And the last, FFE. FFE is represent for finished floor elevation in the technical drawings, which is a CD drawing. And CD is construction documents. FFE is required. With a presentation of a drawing like this, it's not mandatory. Well, that's all the essentials we need for the site plan. If you want to show your clients or audience about your design concept or design intentions, that's probably the minimum you should cover. Just step back a little bit and let's take a look at the drawing again. So it is quite plain and boring, right? To really pop up our design, we should step to the next stage, which is tweak and adjustment. So let's get back to analogy. To make me, myself, look a little bit sharper or at least cleaner, I can roll my sleeves, tuck my t-shirt. To do the similar thing for the side plan we can do at line weight. Just by doing this step, the design has popped up already. The theory behind this is easy. In two-dimensional drawing, how can we tell which one is closer and which one is further? We're not capable of doing that, right? And here comes an artificial concept, line weight. As you can see, here are 2 exact same pencils. I'm placing them in the same position. Both of them share the same thickness. And now I'm gonna place one closer to the lens. The closer one looks thicker, right? Seems like you know something about the line weight right now. And the line weight in top view drawing refers to differentiation of height. Tall objects have thicker lines, while short objects have thinner lines. Next thing we can do is enhance some of the topos. The main purpose of this step is trying to create a hierarchy. In my drawing, I boost the line weight every meter. Read along with FFE, we will have a clear sense of what's going on in the design. Before I introduce the next step, let's take a look at these 3 top views. So let me ask you something. How to distinguish from one to the rest? How can we tell the height of all 3 shapes? How to visually tell the height infos in 2D drawing? Some of you guys is gonna say the line weight, as I just mentioned a few seconds ago. Well, that's totally fine. However, if line weight was a person, he would probably say, man, really, that's just not my thing. The line weight is an artificial concept. Line weight is a relative value, not an absolute value, which is saying we can only tell the objects have thicker lines are taller, and objects who have thinner lines, they are shorter. Just like these three shapes, when I'm dropping some line weights to it, it's gonna be like this. They are still looking exactly the same. And ladies and gentlemen, we got them. No, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the next level of side plan drawing, which is the shadow. Shadow, aka the magic sauce, or you can say that MSG, which brings the third dimension to the drawing, the height info. After adding shadows to these three top views, we have a clear sense of what's going on about the height, which allows our audience to receive more info at one time. Apply this feature to the drawing, we're gonna have something like this. The next step we can do is blow off the roof. With this step, we can show our interior layout. And you may ask, what's the difference between this and a normal floor plan? Floor plan usually have a cutting height of 4 feet, no matter what's going on for the rest of the site. And blowing off the roof is just simply remove the roof. There's no cutting height exist, and if you decide to do this, there's one more thing to keep it in mind. You need to draw a dashed line to represent the rooftops. The next tweak we can do is add landscape, or we can say veggies, that's vegetation. And at hardscape, the only hardscape we have here is the concrete slabs. We don't really have to mark it out, but we can always hatch it later. Another thing we can do is add dimensions. In attack drawings, dimensions are required. They are not mandatory in a presentation drawing like this. The final stage here is the stylish. From the day-to-day life, we are usually looking for a specific look or vibe for our outfit, and the process here is called stylish. There are tons of ways to do that. For instance, we can put some accessories, draw some patterns, change the texture of the fabric. Let's say I want to create an urban look. I can simply add a pair of sunglasses, a casual shirt, and probably a hat. Apply the same thing to the side plan. We can do add color, add texture, add scale figures, or we can say pedestrian, cars, or any stuff we're aware of in the daily life. Change the overall color to fit the theme. And there are just a lot more for you to discover. Let's take a quick review. So we went through the raw infos, the essentials, tweak and adjustment, and the final step, the stylish. If your purpose is trying to sync up with your group, you should at least hit the stage number 2. This is quite normal no matter you are at school or you're at work. And if you're trying to present the whole thing to your clients or audience, it is better to hit the stage number 3, tweak and adjustment. In this step, or in this stage, it just really pops up your design. It is easier to read, and it is just a better way to deliver your idea. And by the way, the last stage, which is the stylish, it's just a bonus point. You don't really have to do that. It's not mandatory. And just keep it in mind, just don't take my words way too seriously, alright? If your boss or if your professor asks you to really do that, just do it. Same story goes when our project is located in the city. And by the way, the first project here is a fake project. I designed it just for this and some of the future videos. However, I designed it based on a real project I did in 2018, and I used the same location but different site. The second project, the urban one, was designed by my business partner Jiang Zhenchun. It was a real-life project in 2019, and I played the role of interior designer for that project. I bought a thing that I thought I would never buy. Anyway, that's a clip for the future video. If you like the video, or you just simply like me, or you've learned something from the video, probably give me a thumbs up, leave some comments below, simply tell me what you want to see next. And most importantly, please consider to subscribe. This means a lot to me and to this channel. And let's meet next week, shall we?